Hello everyone, welcome to this video. So a few days ago, I am honored to facilitate a discussion around mental well-being in workplace for institutional researchers at OCARE, the Overseas Chinese Association of Institutional Research. I find that the kind of strategies and tips I shared there might be helpful for the general public and also for OCARE members who kind of interested to attend but did not get the chance to attend. So I'm recording the discussion, kind of the presentation part of the discussion to share with more people because I do think this kind of strategy, around know ourselves and be better at not only our own personal happiness, but also how that would transfer to our efficiency as IR professionals or just general professionals in any other industry in our workplace. So today's agenda, it won't be a very long video because I'll briefly introduce the theme introduction, and a lot is for you to do after watching this video, getting some inspiration from this video, the strategies, and think about how you can apply it in your life. I will show some kind of practical questions for your inspiration so that you can later reflect on your own, keep a journal or some log of your daily life. And then I'll just summarize some takeaway and some guidance for you around that reflection. So a little bit more about what I'm going to share today. So several aspects about know yourself. One is how you like to work, what kind of activity you like to do that brings you happiness to work, and maybe generally to life as well. So what are your styles? Everyone is unique. You might have a different style than others. So knowing that style is important. Knowing what activities brings you the happiness and do things in your own style might be important for you to do things well. And this other common question of knowing who you are in terms of your strength and weakness. So it's not only before you work with others, it's during, you're going to figuring this out during the process of collaborating, communicating with others. So just keep what you do day to day, but add a few awareness in terms of thinking about your answers, log your happiest moment in work or in life so that you can figure out the pattern of your lifestyle and your work style so that you can in the future plan well to do things you are good at and to kind of aware that this might be something you might not be able to do that brings you anxiety, stuff like that. So you are in better control of your life. So that's the things we're going to talk about today, and let's dive in. Okay, but first of all, I need to kind of walk you through the guiding spirit behind this, because if you still remember the first slide, the title slide, we said this is a series of event. We will have many follow-up videos and discussions. If you are a OCARE member, you're able to kind of attend those one-on-one, group kind of setting of discussions. But if you're not a member and just watching the video, it's the reflection part that you're going to be able to do, and it's still hopefully useful to you. So the guiding spirit. So mental well-being, why are we talking about this? It is a science, and there are many empirical researches around how mental health, like support group, like reflection exercise, like meditation and mindfulness, those kind of interventions does help one's happiness, one's efficiency. Maybe those empirical studies are more of a qualitative study, but they do have some kind of like control and treatment test, and then their conclusion is valid and it is a science. That's, first of all, I want to say, for those who kind of don't believe the science of mental health. So the examples I already provided, the support group. I personally have several years of experience of attending a weekly support group when I was completing my dissertation in my graduate program. So it has been very helpful for me to kind of reflect the academic challenges or life challenges that may interfere with my academic progress, and just practice some mindfulness in my daily life and be more aware of myself and my style, and just also learning from others when other people share their own story and challenges that I might find relevant, or might just expand my kind of horizon of my understanding of the uniqueness of others' contexts and just others' stories that they live in. And also, it's a good place, like in support group, to crowdsourcing, to share your story and to gain others' advices and the resources. And this video is kind of like the crowdsourcing part, because I'm providing this kind of tutorial, or if you can say like mini course. How can you know yourself? How can you communicate better with others by just presenting a few strategies that might hopefully be helpful to you? So focusing on the personal growth for our personal and professional kind of efficiency and happiness. And then kind of the last kind of guiding spirit and why we are doing this, I guess, at OCare is better self-awareness and better self-happiness and well-being can bring your like you can have more energy, you can have more those positive vibes to bring to your work and to build up the leadership you want, to better communicate, better collaborate with others, and maybe to move up if that's what you want to do, and just to have a good life and work life as well. So that's kind of the motivation behind this tutorial and more tutorials to come. Okay, so let's get started of part 1 of Know Yourself. This is a kind of happy face person here, and the question we want to address here is what could make you happy? And here are some examples. Some people may find like we are social well-being, we're social animals and we need relationship. Some other people may find the physical activities and exercises, like doing some sports, might make them happy. And also fun and pleasure activities, whether it's sports or it's reading a book, stuff like that, and personal expressions, sharing your story, talk to another person, some creative activities. Activities that you deem as meaningful to you, and sense of purpose and meaning in life. So those are some general things. So you might need to reflect a little bit to make those more specific to you, and maybe just increase the awareness of when you do different things and what makes you happy. Sometimes it's not specific. It's hard to find resources actually like this, what brings people happiness in workspace. So specifically in the context of work with others, or just doing your job. So this is what we need to fill the gap with. And on the next slide, we're going to explore Specifically for workplace, there is a model we can use or kind of inspire us with that model. So that part is what activities bring you into the flow. So this is really a kind of technical term sometimes that we need to explain a little bit before we move forward. So what is a flow specifically in workplace? So it is a highly focused mental state conducive to productivity. So it can improve your productivity and efficiency in work if you find your flow. So when you are doing this activity, doing this type of job, you're completely involved. You're feeling connected to the task you're doing. You're kind of lost track of your time, and you find a space of serene. You don't have desire or worry anymore. You're just fully engaged with the thing you're doing. So keep kind of an eye on yourself and see what kind of activity, when you do it, you find you're in this flow. So here is some kind of a model that might help you to reflect on this. So let's understand just the different mindset. And the first of all is the flow that we emphasized a lot on the previous slide. So this person is just this famous psychologist that create this concept of flow. And from his model, he said the abilities, so your skills of doing different tasks, is an important dimension when we decide this different mind states of different tasks, and that brings you different feelings. And the other dimension, that y-axis here, is the challenges, the level of challenge of the task that you're doing. So when the task is challenging enough, and your ability, your skill is high enough, it brings you happiness. You are focused on it, and you are in this flow that you're fully engaged in it. We'll later kind of critique a little bit of this model, but basically that's the idea of the flow from this person's, I cannot pronounce his name, this model. So the other one, on the other hand, just directly in contrast to this flow, you might feel sad and depressed when you find yourself having low skill, and the task is just not challenging enough. It's just this routine job, and that you might actually even not actually good at it. So it brings you sadness and depression. On the other hand, if you still don't have enough skill, but the task becomes a little bit challenging, you might feel stressed about it. You might worrying about if you can complete this in time. You don't have enough skill to complete it. And if it comes to another level of very challenging job and you don't have the ability, it might get you more stressed and anxiety. And on the other hand, if you do have some ability, but the task is not challenging enough for you, you might find bored, you might find depressed still and contented. While if you find the task very easy to do and you know how to do it, you might find yourself very relaxed, confident and contented still. And then the other one is you feel everything is in control if you have the ability to do it, and if it's just medium level of challenging. And then on the other hand, it's this very challenging job and you are kind of still developing the skill to do it. You might feel alert. You might be focused on doing this. So it's only when you do have the skill and the task is challenging enough for you that you find happiness and you are in the flow. Well, let's kind of critique a little bit about this model, because it does kind of provide a very good like starting point to kind of frame our way to think about what kind of activities and job tasks bring us to different type of feelings, especially bring us to the flow that we want to figure out, and we want to kind of find our happy kind of task to do. While the critique is, for example, this one, it's depending on if you find the task is meaningful or not. If it's not meaningful to you, even though it's a low challenging job and you are just totally having the ability to do it, you still might find a boredom instead of relaxation, because you don't like and you don't find this task meaningful to you. So just to summarize, we do think the model need more dimensions beyond just this ability dimension and challenges dimension. For example, the number of tasks you are doing does matter. So if there's a lot of challenging tasks, even though you are highly skilled about it, it does just take a lot more time. You might need to work overload. It's just the overload that just maybe not bring you happiness. Instead, you might feel stressed and just anxious about it, even though it's something you like to do, but it's just too much. So that's another dimension, which is the number of challenges and the tasks you're just handling right now. The other one is, we kind of mentioned it here, the meaningfulness, whether you like it or not. It really depends on the personal preference and your own passion and interests. Like one might find this meaningful, but the other person might not. So that's another dimension. And you may come up with your own other dimension to just refine this model. And because our life is complicated and a model is just a starting point to help us to think about this. That is just a food for thought, and you might need to bring more complicated dimensions into it. Okay, so now we introduced the kind of the flow concept, and kind of the goal behind this is to try to motivate yourself and try to inspire you and guiding you, kind of using that model, the flow model, and the kind of the questions there to motivate you to reflect on your own answers to it. For example, let's reflect on this question, which is, what makes you happy in life and in work? So previously on that slide, we said like social support, like sports activity, creative activity, or some just things that you find meaningful for you. So what are those things specifically for you? You might need to pause a little bit and think about it, or just write down those things. Not only in life, but also in your workplace, what kind of tasks you enjoy to do. And that brings us to the second question, which is, what kind of activities brings you to the flow? So you are fully engaged, you lost track of time, you are just fully involved, and you are no longer thinking about the expectation or worries or concerns. You are just doing it, and you really 100% enjoy it. So what are those kind of flow activities? The model might help, like it might be something that you're really good at, like you have a high ability and skills, and also the challenging level is just is challenging enough so that you feel it's very meaningful. So what are those kind of activities? So this is something for you to reflect. And then the last question, which we didn't talk a lot about, but it's a really good question for yourself to kind of for problem solving in another perspective, I guess. So who is your role model? Specifically, maybe if you are having some challenges in your workplace, maybe you can think of a workplace role model. If you cannot think of another person, maybe you can think of some ideal self that you want to be in the future. Like, what would this person respond to a challenge or a concern that you currently have. Either it's your life or if you are focusing on a workplace concern right now. So those are the reflection questions that I think it's basically really helping me when I want to figure out my career path, like when I try to figure out what kind of tasks I need to advocate for myself for, I'd like to do more about, and maybe that's the trajectory for me to move on. And what are the activities, on the other hand, that I find it's boring for me, or I don't enjoy it so much. It just does not bring me to the flow. So maybe in the future I'll try to negotiate with my boss and say I would like to do more about this kind of thing, but not that. And let's figure out maybe in the future, this is the direction I'm going to move forward with. And just to kind of aware of our own lifestyle and try to choose wisely and strategically to move forward with our life and our kind of job trajectory. So that's kind of the introduction. So it's more for you to do after watching this video. So please, this is just my advice, but it's working for me. So I'm wondering maybe that will be helpful for a lot of people. So keep a log on what makes you happy and what kind of job tasks, for example, brings you into this flow in life or in your work. And when facing some challenges that you may be now currently facing some challenges that you want to figure out, or something that brings you anxiety or worry, think of this ideal self that you want to be in the future, or think of a role model you have. Think of what that person might respond to this challenge you currently have, and hopefully that will bring you kind of outside of your personal perspective of so much worry about this challenge, and kind of jump out of your personal perspective and think of what's a better way to deal with it, and develop whatever takes you to become the future self, the ideal self, and this role model you have. But step by step, do not stress yourself out by thinking about being this ideal self tomorrow. So it takes time, and be patient to yourself. And you have more, and if you have more strategies, you have more comments around today's takeaway or the model or the reflection questions we talked about today, please feel free to leave your comments and build a kind of community and inspire each other. So I hope to see you next time. Just want to talk a little bit more of maybe some future topics, just to motivate you to come back. So we'll kind of maybe talk about some upward management, downward management strategies and tips, so that we can have kind of better control of our life, not only knowing ourselves, but also know how to communicate and negotiate with some others in our team, in workplace. And then strategies and kind of mindset in order to increase our impact and getting recognized in our workplace or in our life as well. So communication and collaboration strategies in workplace. So those are just a few ideas that for this mental well-being series event. I hope to see you next time, but I do want to encourage you to, if you do like this video, give me a thumb up. That really helps me and motivates me to do more videos like this. Again, please comment or share so that we can help each other, inspire each other. And then if you don't mind, just subscribe this video, this channel, I mean, so that you next time when I post a video like this, you get notified. Thank you very much.